Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and I am an alum of the NVYO program, and I'm here today to give a few tips on the Philharmonic audition. So the first part of the audition is scales. This is classic and it shows a few ways where we can demonstrate our full tone of our sound and our intonation and use of our full bow. So those are three good things that we can really show. I note that it has a tempo of 60, so practice these with a metronome to really get that steady. I'll demonstrate the D major scale now. Hopefully I used my whole bow and hopefully you could tell. With this scale, I would say the main things just to practice is practice the shift a few times over and over. Don't just run the scale, but try to focus in on a few things that will make it feel a little more comfortable, and just remember that big tone. Moving on to our B flat major scale. This one has a little more focus on intonation. Flats can be a little more difficult, so make sure that your flats are a bit flatter, and work on using your fourth finger as well, because this will have us using our fourth finger on the E flat, and so making sure that when we're crossing strings to our fourth finger, making sure that we're really prepared to play that. I'll demonstrate that for you now. So that's our B flat major scale. Keep going for that nice round tone, and when you cross strings, just make sure that your elbow is prepared as well as your left hand to get to whatever fourth fingers you need to play. All right, next up is the required exercise for violin. This is a sort of obstacle course of things that we need to pay attention to in our music, including time signatures, accidentals, different rhythms, different dynamics, position changes, and different bow strokes. So each measure we have to really focus on what's important and what we need to show and demonstrate that we understand and that we can play it well. So I'm going to demonstrate it for you now. So one of the first things we want to focus on in this excerpt are just exaggerating things that we know need to be different than the other notes, such as our accented notes. So in measure 3, make sure you really show that accent by putting a little bit of space before the note and then adding that extra weight to the note that needs to be accented. And I think that'll really make that pop out a little more. Another thing that we can do in general with the excerpt is practice with the metronome. That way you'll make sure your beat is really steady through all these time signature changes, through the different dotted rhythms that you have to show. You want to make sure that even throughout all those things, your beat stays very steady. So go ahead and practice with the metronome at a speed that feels good for you. Another thing that we need to focus on is making sure that we have all our accidentals correct. So some of them are written and some of them go back in the next measure to a different note, and it doesn't tell you exactly that it's changing. So for instance, in measure 4 and 5, in measure 4 you have a C sharp, in measure 5 it goes back to a C natural. It doesn't put the natural sign, but you know that it's a C natural because of your key signature, which is just 1 flat. So make sure that in measure 4 and measure 5, in measure 4 you play B natural and C sharp, in measure 5 you play C natural and B flat. So make sure that you really go through the excerpt and look to make sure that you're doing all of those accidentals. Another place that might be important is measure 9. You have a C sharp on the G string. Those can tend to be a little low, so make sure that it's nice and high as compared to your C natural. The last few measures of this excerpt go to spiccato, which is a different kind of bow stroke, and as the PDF says, it is bounced off the string. So make sure that it is coming off of the string and is light and is close to the frog so that it more easily bounces. I'll demonstrate that here. So it really comes off the string just a little bit, as long as it's not if it has a little bit of height, that's what the stroke is looking for. And whenever you have a long note in this piece, that's an opportunity for you to show off your vibrato and the beautiful sound that you can make. So those are a few things that can be helpful with the excerpt. When choosing your solo piece for the audition, make sure you choose something that you feel confident playing and that you enjoy playing, because that will come across in your audition. You also want to choose something that challenges you, so that there are things that you can show off about your playing or things that work well on the violin that you can demonstrate through your solo. We want to avoid choosing something that's absolutely terrifying or feels above our level, because we want to show something that we feel we can play well. So just when choosing your solo piece, choose something that makes you feel good but gives you a little bit of a challenge. I know that the optional solo listed is Gavotte, and that's a great piece. I think we have another video demonstrating a playthrough of that if you'd like to check that out as well. I think that concludes my video. Best of luck with the audition. Play confident, practice, and it will sound great. Best of luck.